Tonight, a Port Lincoln gun owner to face court after his rifle and 2 gel blasters were stolen from his business. And an extra financial boost on the way for parts of the Spencer Gulf to help market the hidden gems of the region.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. First tonight, firearms have been stolen from a Port Lincoln business, but it doesn't end there. The owner of the guns, which are a .177 caliber air rifle and 2 gel blasters, reported them missing after noticing they were no longer at his business in town. He believes they were taken sometime between 1 p.m. on Sunday the 19th and 7:30 a.m. on Monday. Port Lincoln police are yet to find the alleged thieves, but they have reported the 56-year-old gun owner for failing to correctly store the firearms. Officers state it's an offence to store firearms insecurely and to possess a firearm without a licence, including gel blasters. Investigations are continuing into the break-in and the whereabouts of the stolen firearms. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Residents in Broken Hill and surrounds are being encouraged to dig out their unused Dine and Discover vouchers as the expiration date creeps up. A staggering number of voucher dollars are yet to be spent in the Silver City as part of the statewide scheme aimed to boost engagement at local dining, arts and recreation businesses in the wake of the COVID restrictions. Joshua Mercer has more.
With June 30 just around the corner, not only is it time to get tax ready, but it's also time to use those Dine and Discover vouchers before they expire. Families with an unused $25 voucher or two are being encouraged to spend them before the end of the month. Minister for Customer Service and Digital Government, Victor Dominello, says the program was a game changer for local businesses and families when it was introduced last year, boosting the household budget. He also says the program has served its intended purpose by supporting local hospitality, cultural and entertainment businesses, which were hard hit during the peak of the pandemic. Nearly $500 million has been invested in over 16,000 businesses across the state as part of the scheme. Here in Broken Hill, there's more than 30,000 unclaimed vouchers, which equates to more than $700,000. Money that could be spent here, but just hasn't yet. Other LGAs have millions of dollars in unclaimed vouchers. Take the Central Coast, for example. It has $13,680,000 of unclaimed vouchers still collecting dust. Here in the Silver City, you can trade a voucher for a gift voucher at the cinema, just so long as you use it before the end of July when the cinema changes hands. While the Dine and Discover vouchers expire at the end of the financial year, you have a bit longer to use your Stay New South Wales voucher, which don't expire until mid-October.
The tourism sector within South Australia is set to receive a financial boost aimed on helping organisations with marketing opportunities. 11 regions will be awarded an additional $15,000 in efforts to attract more people to the state.
Regional South Australia leading the charge in the state's visitor economy, now it's receiving additional funding. The state government committing almost $500,000 to regional tourism marketing.
A baseline of the $20,000 each year, and then, as I understand it, they received a once-off of $10,000 increase during the COVID restriction, and now we have in the forward estimates given them the $15,000 per year.
The extra money brings the total up to $45,000 for next year. Now organisations can improve and modify their marketing strategies.
We did a lot of work around revamping the visitor guide. So we did a complete sort of editorial overhaul, and that will be in print in the next couple of weeks. Additional projects are essentially ongoing marketing, so managing our website, managing our social media platforms.
The Eyre Peninsula already exceeding its 2025 visitor economy target by a staggering $91 million, with other regions following suit.
It's been quite a change in the fact that now 60% of the visitor economy is in the regions. So prior to COVID, it was just over 40%.
Funding will also go towards marketing the region to interstate travellers.
We think there are people in Victoria and New South Wales, Queensland, who perhaps haven't been to South Australia, And we know that those markets are really interested.
With more visitors returning to the regions, the RDA is reminding people of sustainable practice.
I think it's a really important reminder that we do need to manage our destinations tourism industry sustainably. So it's looking at the triple bottom line principles of economic, socio-cultural and environmental. So making sure that all those things are in balance.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
St Mark's College in Port Pirie has opened their doors to a new learning centre for years 3 and 4. The Valdocco Centre features 6 state-of-the-art classrooms and 2 breakout learning spaces, nestled within surrounding gardens and a sandpit.
Students and teachers have been enjoying the new Valdocco Centre since the beginning of the year. But the official opening last week was a special moment for the primary campus to gather and celebrate.
Yeah, there's all new furniture and there's lots of new things that I haven't seen before, and we've got lots of cool technology now.
Principal Sandra Hewson is pleased with the facility and says it is part of an ongoing investment into improved infrastructure at the college.
It's an amazing new centre for those middle primary students, with contemporary classrooms, with access to technologies that the students are using.
It is hoped that the different spaces will provide opportunities for the students to become independent learners and improve time management.
They have access to all of the playgrounds and so on to support their recreation and their health and well-being, but they feel like a really tight-knit community in year 3-4.
The name Valdocco connects deeply with the traditions of the college, with St John Don Bosco opening his first oratory in Valdocco within Italy. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, the art organisation touring regional areas to encourage budding artists to further their careers. And AFLW star Eloise Jones to stop by Broken Hill, set to host a clinic for footy lovers. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. With almost 30 years in operation, Country Arts SA is still just as passionate about arts and culture in regional communities as ever before. And now they're providing individuals with the opportunity to improve and express themselves through projects, shows and workshops.
Country Arts SA has been visiting locations across the Yorke Peninsula to educate communities on regional art funds and how they can be used. The message Grants Program Manager Deb Myers wants to get across is there is a lot of support available to local councils and not-for-profit organisations.
And secondly, to try and help them to understand what the process involves so that they don't feel too intimidated. And it can work both ways. Sometimes people think that they're more complicated than they thought, and other times they realise they're not as complicated as they thought.
Deb says there is no perfect candidate for a grant and encourages anyone who is passionate about growing their skills and sharing their talents to apply.
It's really broad. We've received so many different types of applications and from so many different types of organisations and groups and individuals.
It's important regional communities are given the same opportunities as metropolitan areas, and locals are able to discover what's in their own backyard.
Individual or group of people that are really keen to do something in their community, either raise the profile of their community, to bring their community together in some way through an event or a performance or an art project.
For more information about Country SA Arts and how they can help you, visit their website. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Footy players in Broken Hill will be in for a treat this Friday when AFLW star Eloise Jones makes her way to the city. The star forward will be putting the youth and senior players through their paces before hosting a Q&A afterwards.
Friday's clinic with Crow star Eloise Jones will be an amazing opportunity to learn from one of the best and a chance to pick her brain about being a gun football player.
It's been an amazing opportunity for not just West Football Club, but for all clubs in town to be able to give the youth girls and the women's something.
Mrs. Green used her family connections to get the star player to the Silver City.
She's actually my husband's cousin, so I was able to speak to her grandparents and see if she was keen to do something for the youth girls and women in Broken Hill, and she was more than happy to.
Unfortunately, due to injury, Jones won't be putting on a Robins jumper, but she will still be present on game day, passing on even more knowledge in game situations.
Yeah, definitely. She will be there on Saturday with the junior kids and even the women's team. She'll be sitting on the bench helping the coach out on game day.
The clinic isn't just for the West Football Club, it's for everyone, with youth and senior players from all clubs welcome. And so are fans.
Oh, most definitely. If anyone's a fan of her that doesn't play football like myself, I'm a big fan of hers. And yeah, I don't play, but I'm keen to have a chat with her and pick her brain. I can't wait.
The clinic will start at 4:30 Friday afternoon. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Whale are dogs to run free on the foreshore, but there's a catch. And Kimber's Big Galah is treated to a pedicure to help lure in more visitors. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. The RSPCA will receive an additional $1 million from the state government in an attempt to stop animal cruelty. The funding boost delivering on an election promise we put in place for the next 4 years.
An initiative to protect the ones closest to us. Animals and pets who have been left subject to neglect will now receive additional support.
We are really grateful to the state government for this additional funding boost of $1 million over 4 years towards the cost of our inspectorate. It means that we can keep our 7 inspectors on the road 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The Animal Welfare Act is cracking down on animal cruelty and those who are breeding dogs immorally.
What we want is to make sure that the RSPCA has the tools to be able to deal with those unscrupulous breeders. And one of those tools is having enough money to enforce the Act.
The RSPCA Inspectorate working tirelessly around the state to educate people around the mistreatment of animals.
They are the ones who are going out there and responding to cruelty reports, more than 4,000 of them received every year. And they're the ones who are also going in and talking with owners and trying to get them up to speed in the care of their animals.
The penalties are severe and can result in jail time.
If you get into court and you're found guilty, you can go to jail or you can spend thousands of dollars in fines and you can be banned from having animals.
Inspectors from within the organisation are making sure to reach country townships. Local law enforcement also assisting in the crackdown.
Our inspectors cover the entire state. They go on country rounds on a rotational basis, but they are also supported in the regions, particularly by the South Australian Police.
The Act is committed in looking after the health of animals and making sure they are living within a safe environment.
We need to make sure that if you buy a puppy for your family, you can be really confident that that animal and its parents have been treated properly. And right now, we're not sure that's the case, so we're acting.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Whyalla dogs are now officially allowed to run freely along the beach. The City Council deciding to implement changes to the dog bylaws to allow canines to be off-leash on the foreshore. The rule changes allow dogs to be unleashed on the foreshore between the jetty to the mangroves before 8 a.m. and after 6 p.m. The council says in order for the dogs to be off-leash, they have to be under the effective control of their owner, meaning the dog has to be close to the person and the person has to be able to see their dog at all times. With the town of Kimber experiencing a tourism boom, the council is making sure the community looks in tip-top shape all year round. Ongoing works to the town's silo art, murals and famous statue are set to revitalise Kimber's art trail.
Kimber's Big Galah is getting some TLC. After being repainted in 2021, the community involved found that the platform on which the giant bird stands on should also be renovated. Artist Karen Carr and her assistant Kate Ellington are now regrading the feet and creating a new mosaic display.
We've had some great regional artists that have helped us upgrade our big galah. She was in need of a bit of work, I've got to say. She was looking a bit tired and a bit puffed.
The Mayor says the renovated and more colourful statue will give out-of-towners more incentive to stop by.
She's a real art form now and we get so many comments about it. But we've also got our silo art.
The town creating a tourist trail of sculptures, murals and silo art that leads visitors to Workshop 26, a non-for-profit marketplace for artists and small businesses. But the council says much of their work to maintain the look of their town happens behind the scenes, ensuring there is enough water for farmers' crops and the town's assets to remain lush all year round.
We've got a huge water catchment scheme that's been fantastic through the drought years, and we've got about $80,000 worth of water out there that can keep our town and our ovals green and flourishing through this time.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. From squid to salmon, we've got you covered in this week's Fish Tips, and we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Golf News. Squid has been a popular catch around Whyalla lately, so much so their ink has been staining the popular circular jetty. But if you're after something other than a mollusk, we've got you covered. Here's this week's Fish and Tips.
Welcome to another week around the Golf Fishing Tips. You know, this weather starts to cool down and we have a couple of little reports coming out. We always get many people coming and telling us what's available. So garfish, we forgot to mention garfish over the last couple of weeks. They're around the places. If you look at Barrows Beach particularly, or from Third Creek patches outwards along the mangroves, you should find yourself a good feed of garfish. The top spot for King George at the moment is Eastern Shoal, so on the northern side, so have a look there. They're quite big, but when you're coming home, try along the top end of Ward Spit. You might find yourself a good feed or two there. If you don't want to venture that far, Third Creek patches, you'll have to work hard, but you will get a feed. Don't forget, while you're out there, throw the squid jag over. Plenty of those fellas floating around, and be good over the weekend. We'll see you next time.
G'day and welcome to this week's Fishing Tips from Port Augusta, Jewel of the North. Well, we've had the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year's gone and past, so the day's getting a bit longer. Not that I'm noticing it too much getting up early. But if you are up early, you're getting silver whiting along the front of the shacks. There's also still plenty of crabs around at the moment too, but you just have to wait a little bit before they get in the nets. Try a little bit deeper there and wait for the first pull, about 5 to 10 minutes, and then you'll start getting them. King George whiting can be caught. People have been reporting they've been getting their bag limits on those, and also a couple of grass whiting mixed up with that and the odd flounder and flathead as well. Plenty of squid as you expect this time of year, down along the front of the shacks, or basically all over at the moment. And that's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
G'day and welcome to Fishing Tips in Port Lincoln. We'll start locally in the bay here, and there have been some good squid reports, especially late in the day along the North Shore, down around McLaren Point and also down into Memory Cove. Best whiting reports have been in the proper, especially down towards Tulka, once again late in the day, but the run-out tide has been best down there. Over at Coffin Bay, there's been a few salmon trout within the bay system. Out wide of Sir Isaac's, there have been some nice red snapper and a few school sharks. Best salmon reports we've had this week has been from the Port Lincoln south coast, with quite a few schools in the 2 to 3 kilo size. Well, that's all for tips this week. We'll see you again next week with more fishing tips.
Might have to get myself a 3 kilo salmon. That is impressive. Well, time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, it was a chilly morning in the Spencer Gulf.
It was, Maddie. Good evening to you and our viewers. At 6 a.m, the feels-like temperature was 3.4 degrees if you woke up in Whyalla, but it was even colder in Port Augusta. At 5:30 this morning, the apparent temperature was just 1.5 degrees above freezing. Port Augusta warmed up to 22 degrees on par with Cooper Pedy today. Whyalla didn't do too badly either, reaching 21, and it was 17 degrees in Clare. Taking a look at the rest of the region now, 20 degrees was the top temp in both Port Pirie and Port Lincoln, 21 in Kadina, Broken Hill reached 17 after 1 p.m. and it was a top of 19 degrees in the capital. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a northwest northerly airstream is expected over coastal waters tomorrow, reaching northern Spencer Gulf in the afternoon. A high pressure system will then develop over the Bight on Sunday. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. West to northwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots before a southwesterly change in the early morning. Seas around 1 metre and south to southwesterly swell between 1 metre and 2.5 metres. Taking a look at tomorrow's temperature now, Port Lincoln will have an early shower or two and is set to reach 17 degrees. Showers in 16 in Cleve, Woodner a shower or 2 and 18. Afternoon showers on the way for Whyalla tomorrow between 9 and 18 degrees. Port Augusta, possible showers and 17 degrees in Kadina. Port Pirie will get down to 11 degrees tonight, a shower or 2 and 17 tomorrow. Rainy and 13 degrees in Clare, and Broken Hill will be sunny and 17. Taking a look at the weekend forecast now, and Saturday is looking mostly fine except for Port Lincoln and Adelaide. Those two centres will see some rain, temps in the mid to late teens. Sunday's looking a bit rainier, possible showers in Port Lincoln and Kadina heading for 16 degrees. Woodner and Whyalla can expect some showers as well, and a top of 17 in Port Pirie. And finally, a quick look at how Monday is shaping up. A handful of sun icons have appeared and the rainy ones are gone. Sunny and 18 in Port Augusta, 13 the top in Broken Hill and 16 in Whyalla and Port Lincoln. So Maddie, Sunday is the wet one, the rest is mostly fine, and that's all the weather from me for tonight. I'll see you a little later with an update. It's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex, and it's great to have you back. And that's the local news this Thursday. I'm Madeline Kerr. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.